Good morning.
Good morning.
Allow me to end the story. The Mheshimiwa concerned was Honorable Senator Asige, and she wanted to talk about the 4 bills that she has pushed through Parliament and that were passed unanimously in the Senate. And when she stood to talk, everybody kept quiet, including His Excellency the President. Because in the current Parliament, nobody has done 4 bills except our blind Honorable Senator Asige. Please clap for her. At times I like not to use the microphone, but I know some people in this room would want a very loud voice, and therefore just allow me to do that and to recognize the presence from among us of one of my mentors and tell you this story. When I was a young lady in the Ministry of Education, I was an assistant chief inspector of schools. I was told to represent the ministry in New York. I had never been to America, let alone New York and the UN. And I asked, now, how am I going to do that? I was supposed to talk about female genital mutilation. As much as I don't fear crowds, I was fearing America and the people in the delegation. But I just braved it. I went, I arrived, and I arrived and sat between 2 ladies, both of them bearing the first name that is alike. That was Mother Karua, Honorable Mother Karua was here, and Mother Kome. So I sat there. So I was scratching and saying, now, when I'm told to talk, what will I do? I remember Mother telling me, just stand there, you have been a teacher, and talk. This is just a group like any other. And I did exactly that. Because the NGOs had said there was mutilation in this country, and there was a lot of that in Western Kenya, and children were not going to school. And I had to say, no, they are going to school. This ceremony happens, particularly for the boys in that part. In other parts, yes, there is cutting, but it is not mutilation. In other places, yes, it is mutilation, but it is not as bad as we are putting it, and the government is doing something. But I got that courage from the 2 mothers, and I'm still proud of these 2 ladies to date. Honorable Mother Karua, I recognize your presence, and I'm very happy about what you have been doing in this country and what you have done for the girl child, at times without your knowledge. I want to recognize from among us my Commissioner Koyer, to recognize Salpa. We have met now 3 times. Yes, karibu sana Kenya. I want to recognize Maureen Odori, the country director of Westminster Foundation for Democracy, Anastasia Kaberere, the representative from our Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and I want to recognize the representatives of political parties present. You are very many. I may not be able to count all of you. From the publication, I saw 19 parties. But from the write-up, yes, the top of that booklet shows they are 19, but inside is 20. And I was saying, why 20? It should be 90, because we have 90, we have been told by the registrar of political parties, we have 90 fully registered political parties. Let me recognize the distinguished guests who may not fall in those categories that I have outlined. Ladies and gentlemen, with all protocols observed, I want to greet you this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have kept time. I hope the timekeeper is doing very well. It is indeed great pleasure for me to address you during this launch of the National Disability Multi-Party Caucus that has been named as NDMC. This launch offers us an opportunity to discuss a matter that is very dear to my heart and that is disability inclusion, particularly in politics. First and foremost, let me express my gratitude to the organizers for extending invitation to me. I got this invitation yesterday, and because of the commitment, I actually consented and said, I will come. Little did I know they were going to turn around and say, you are going to be the chief guest. Thank you for the invitation, all the same. And I will tell you, once upon a time I had a card showing that I was a person with disability. Why? Because my left hand broke, all the bones, and after assessment, I was told I may never be able to use this hand. But you can see now I can use it. For those who are near, you can see the kind of things that the doctor did. I still carry a metal in there. Very few of you will know that I have a metal because it's a left hand. And all of us, even those who are in this room and you have no disability, you are a candidate. It happens at whatever point. Just remember yesterday, we had this unfortunate thing towards Mombasa, Kenyatta University bus. And we have so many students who have lost their lives, but nobody's talking about those who have become disabled. And there are quite a number. So I'm almost mourning with those who are mourning. But remember now, you have more candidates. For the political parties, with that accident, you are sure to have many more candidates. That is why this particular subject is very dear to my heart, because it is for each one of us. As I talk about the invite, I wish to thank and congratulate the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, for Development of the National Disability Multi-Party Caucus Framework that will guide the operations of NDMC. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the legislation of Kenya provides for disability inclusion in the political arena. These provisions are contained in the principal law of the country, that is the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and in particular, Article 54, Sub-Article 2, which states, the state shall ensure the progressive implementation of the principle that at least 5% of the members of the public in elective and appointed bodies are persons with disabilities. Now, I want us to underline today the word progressive. At the moment, we are even just talking about 1.6% of persons with disability that have been employed. When will we reach the 5%? Because there is that word progressive. Has time come for this caucus that we are launching today to advocate for amendment so that we stop having the word progressive? Because this progressive is what is eating us. Because somebody comes and gives you tokenism. And let me just tell you the tokenism that we have been given. And at times, it is not there. If you check Article 97, which shows the composition of the National Assembly, they are not specific about how many people with disability should be there. The numbers are missing. They just mention. And therefore, if somebody does nothing, that's fine, because there are no numbers. They'll take you back to Article 90 about the political party list. And if the political parties have not done anything for persons with disability, then we get left out in the National Assembly. And I've seen people coming to my office and saying, we have been left out. Please help us in court. Then I say, even if we go to court, we shall lose. Why? Because that section is not specific. And therefore we need specifications. And if we were taking down notes, that should be Article 97, Sub-Article C, where we should be asking for numbers. Time has come that we need accountability. The other place where we have been given a tokenism is Article 177, the MCAs. In 2022 and 2023, people went to court. And I remember Modoni telling me, what are you doing about it? And quite a number from Mombasa, and they went to court. And I told them, we shall go to court, we shall spend money, we shall not win. Why? Because Article 177, Sub-Article C, is not clear. It just says PWDs, minorities and marginalized, and all others. And therefore, it doesn't give us a leeway. We are, however, happy to note that tokenism we have been given in Article 98. To be precise, Sub-Article D, that is the composition of Senate. We have been told specifically 1 PWD female and 1 PWD male. And I'm asking, out of 47, why are we just being given 2? Nobody has given me that answer. I asked, why are we being given 16 women in the Senate? And somebody said, that makes a third. But what is this 2 for PWDs? These are areas I'm just highlighting so that when the caucus this afternoon starts to work, you remember there's need to amend the various sections that are making us not participate as we should be doing. Further to the legislation, that is the Constitution of Kenya 2010, I look at Article 2 of that Constitution, Sub-Article 6, and see that any treaty or convention ratified by Kenya shall form part of law of Kenya under this Constitution. And therefore, we look out what has Kenya ratified in matters disability. And here, I have 2 key instruments, and one of them is the convention, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. Kenya ratified this on the 19th of May, 2008. And therefore, we can take it wholly to be part of our local law. And when at times I act for persons with disability, that is one instrument that I take with me, because it is expressly said that this is part of our law. The other one is the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of persons with disabilities. This particular instrument, which is the African, you can call it the regional instrument, Kenya ratified in 2022, and it was deposited in Ethiopia, if you wish, in Addis Ababa. And therefore, that one forms part of our law. Why am I going into this? Is because of what we have locally. Because the country prides itself in having an act of parliament on issues of disabilities. This is Persons with Disabilities Act, number 14 of 2003. It is worth noting that this act is in the process of being amended to be in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the international instruments that the country has ratified, which have issues of disabilities. I want to challenge all of us. What have we done? Senator Asige has done her bit. She tried to push for this act, for the amendment to go through. When it was not working very fast, she made her own bill, and it was passed unanimously. Now it has gone to the National Assembly. Shouldn't we hold the government to account so that this act of 2003 is amended to be in line with the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and all the instruments that the country has ratified? Caucus, that is another area of your concern. So help me in that campaign. As I talk to Waheshimiwa, please also talk to Waheshimiwa. And at times, if you find you have no platform, whenever we tweet, I still call them tweets, because we do that quite a bit. Whenever we tweet, you can retweet, you can like, and then it will be viral. And everybody, at times, we literally tag the National Assembly, the Senate, even State House. So we can tag everybody so that they know we exist. So even when you don't have funds, you can campaign on that platform. Even ORPP, you can campaign with us. Please come with us as we campaign. Let us have the 13th Parliament passing this very critical instrument. Kenya has made provisions of oversight on issues disability by establishing the National Gender and Equality Commission, the commission that I chair. Just for our information, the National Gender and Equality Commission is a constitutional commission established by the National Gender and Equality Commission Act number 15 of 2011, pursuant to Article 5, Sub-Article 4 and 5 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The Commission's mandate is to promote gender equality and freedom from discrimination for all people in Kenya, with a focus on special interest groups, which include women, children, youth, persons with disabilities, older members of society, minorities, and marginalized groups. So when you are coming to NGEC, have no apologies. You are one of our special interest groups, and we have a mandate and a duty to serve your interests. I'm now addressing the PWDs. You are part of our groups. And remember, PWDs cut across all these other special interest groups. They are women, they are youth, they are children, they are older members of society, they are minority and marginalized. So I would say, if we serve this group, we will be serving a multi-stakeholder group in terms of special interest groups. It is the duty of the National Gender and Equality Commission to ensure that the rights of PWDs are not violated, and that the existing policies, legislation, regulations, and any guidelines on the issues of persons with disabilities are adhered to by all people in Kenya. And when we say by all people, even if you are a foreigner and we find you are infringing the rights of PWDs, we shall deal with you. Diplomacy notwithstanding. And if you are working in government, we shall deal with you. If you are private sector, we deal with you. Our mandate is that wide. The National Gender and Equality Commission also ensures that the country does the required reporting on treaties and conventions that it has ratified that relate to PWDs, such as CRPD. I must say, this is one forum where I find quite a number of times it is not taken seriously. But as NGEC, all the years I've been there, I've now been there 5 years, this is my 6th year, I've always made sure that Kenya has reported on CRPD. I follow them, I make sure that the report has been written, the country position paper has been written, I follow them to New York and make sure that they have read it in the assembly and get the concluding remarks. So that when we get back, we can hold them to account. I'm very proud that it is during my time that we saw the gap for the region and we pushed for the protocol to the African Human and People's Charter on the rights of persons with disability, and it finally went through. I had to convene those meetings at the beginning. But towards the end, the PS then Marwa and Ukuru Yatan took up the mantle, and we were able to finalize that. I realized in the document that we have published today, that particular protocol is missing, and I hope it will be incorporated as we also put pagination to that great document. And now that you know the mandate of NGEC, we expect to be number 13 as key stakeholder. Number 13 is usually seen as a bad one, but nobody likes the police, so we don't mind being number 13. We will work with you from today onwards, and we have been working and doing this. So also come with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to congratulate the Westminster Foundation for Democracy for having identified the establishment of the National Disability Multi-Party Caucus as a viable vehicle to address the issue of low participation of PWDs in political parties. A similar vehicle has been established and tried in Finland with remarkable success. I actually interacted with members of Demo Finland, that group, and I was surprised, from various political parties, and if you looked at them, you would think they were brothers and sisters. I had a whole evening with them, and I am excited. So, Salpa, I hope I'm pronouncing it very well, Sirpa. Please pass our regards to that group, because we are going to emulate them and go further than that. Thank you very much. Here in the country, and I want us to draw our attention to what has been happening, and my commissioner did mention, here in the country, the Council of Governors launched the G7 caucus for female governors on the 7th of March 2024, with a view to enhancing participation of women in governance. Their focus being to increase the number of female governors from the current 7 to 24. And if you know, our counties are 47. So if they are looking at 24, that is almost 50%. It's actually 50%. That is what they are looking at. They have strategies and an action plan for achieving their goal. So I'm looking at this caucus that we are going to launch today. We have the strategies. Do we have the action plan? On that day, on the 7th, as His Excellency the President launched the G7, they already got a chairperson. And if you want to know, the chairperson is Her Excellency Anne Waiguru, who is also the chair of the Council of Governors. And I must say, those ladies are going places. Why am I saying they are going places? One of the strategies, and I can tell you, is to mentor the young ones, starting with where they are. So you can imagine all the governors going to Embu, where Susan Barire is, and Cecily Barire, I'm saying Susan, where she is, and talking to all the ladies about why they should be in governance. And then they move and go to Kwale and go and talk about the same. Go to Homa Bay, talk the same. Go to Meru, Honorable Kawira Mwangaza. I like talking about her. She has no party. She is independent, but she fought her way through. And she has withstood 2 impeachments. You can see she's another Iron Lady. I think Mother has made several Iron Ladies around. That is another one that is coming up. So the whole idea is, as we leave this place, I would urge ourselves, it is useful that we have a leader who is, or a convener, so that now we can move this agenda forward. When the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, I need to thank them because of, with the funding that they got from Demo Finland, they have facilitated this development of the framework that will guide NDMC that we are launching today. This is a good start for enhancing the participation of PWDs in the political arena. I wish to urge all the political parties in the country, and I'm talking of the 90, to become active players in this caucus. Let us put aside our political differences and unite in this caucus. The African saying goes, and there are very many African sayings about unity, but I just took one. Unity is strength. Division is weakness. If I may add, my own grandmother used to tell me, if you put sticks, very thin sticks together and tie them, just get 10 of them and tie them, short sticks, you will not be able to cut them. They become very strong. But if you remove one by one, you'll be able to cut them. So why don't we come together? Let's forget about the political differences. If you look at Kedipa, they don't talk about their political parties. They talk about disability and matters of inclusion. If you look at Kewopa in the National Assembly, they talk about women representation, notwithstanding the various different political parties. If you look at Kewota in the Senate. That is the whole talk. It is all the women, not those who belong to a particular party. So my clarion call today is let us forget our differences and come together and advocate for disability inclusion in politics. And I said, let us start by thinking of the Act 2003 amendment and then move on to the Constitution that needs amendments at, if you wish, at Articles 97, Article 98 and 177. 177 is the one that talks about the MCAs, the county assemblies. And we can think of other activities that are going to be useful. As I conclude, I wish to pledge my total support as an individual, but more importantly, to reiterate the commitment of the National Gender and Equality Commission to continue promoting all the rights of PWDs, not only political, even all the other rights. And I want to stop there because I don't know how the launch goes like.